All right, here we have some nice arborvitae roping that I've done. Now, roping like this in short sections, if not long sections, are great for outside your home and certain placements within your home, indoors, like table settings, centerpieces, side tables, all sorts of opportunities in and outside your home. Now, as you can see, I have a few supplies beyond this really nice green roping made with arborvitae. You can certainly make it with other greens, combination greens, and certainly incorporating really colorful supplies, maybe some berries and cones. Let's run through a few supplies and get right into the process. Now, I like to put in dried flowers into some roping that I actually display for a few of our houses, often in dining room tables. Great supplies, incorporated into evergreen roping, utilizing certainly some picks. You can see some lavender picks here. We've got globe amaranth and status. And this kind of craft pick allows you to prep your ingredients beforehand and literally pick it in to your evergreen roping once that is complete. So consider that. That saves a lot of time. Otherwise, you can literally tie in supplies into the roping. You can do this last, or you can literally incorporate colorful berries and cones with your greens as you create the roping. When it comes to tools, it's pretty simple. You know, certainly like all crafts with plants, you'll need a nice pair of pruners. We'll need some twine and a little bit of wire. Let's get into that fun process step by step. Now, when creating roping, the first step is to tie your twine to the table, okay? Some people will tape it, okay? But you want your start or the beginning of your roping. We're basically going to attach foliage onto this string. Okay, it sounds more complicated than it actually is. We'll see that process coming up. But you really want a sturdy structure because as you add greens to the twine, you're gonna pull on it. So you want a nice and sturdy attachment. All right, like making wreaths, we're gonna attach the wire first. Okay, just using a spool of wire. This is 26 gauge, which I love using. Really easy on the hands, really flexible, easy to use, okay? So at the beginning or start of your roping, you're literally just going to tie off your wire, okay? And we do not cut until the very end of the process, allowing you to add, wrap, all the way to the end until the process is complete. Today, I'm making a short one for a tabletop piece, all right? So let's get started with a little bit of foliage. Sometimes you want to prep that foliage into small little pieces that allows you to really quickly incorporate different pieces along that string, that twine. Let's get started. Now I've prepped some foliage here. You can actually see some white pine, arborvitae, a few other things, I believe, in my little pile of small foliage bundles. And that becomes very practical as you go through the process. You actually don't want a lot of woody material. It becomes very difficult to incorporate it into roping. So I'm gonna grab a few small pieces, and you almost want to make a little bundle, okay? Just like that to get things started, all right? And to get things started, you're literally going to tie in a nice tail like this by simply wrapping a couple times around that twine while incorporating the first bundle. Almost looks like a little tail just to get things started, okay? Now that is literally attached to the twine, and again, I do not cut my wire, okay? As I add, I wrap, okay? Keep in mind, as you go along, wanting to move along, you know, in progression, you're gonna want to start turning it a little bit for that three-dimensional look. Just imagine if you place things on top for the entire amount, you know, as you flip that to the very other side, it's gonna be bare and you're gonna see the exposed twine, okay? So sometimes I'll twist as I go along, so you not only put it on one side, but you're literally rotating 360 degrees around that twine, allowing you to develop a really nice full three-dimensional aspect of this roping, okay? Second piece coming up, we're just grabbing another bundle. Keep in mind that you can kind of separate things. You know, if things are too fanned out like this, you're gonna actually get really thick roping. So your first few bundles to get started with really determine the thickness of your roping, and that allows you to really continue that process for a lot of that uniformity for that finished product. A little bit different than that first bundle. Consider different bundles, amount of diversity within your roping, so you get different textures, different forms. So I like quite a lot of different types of foliage. Otherwise, that roping looks pretty similar to all that stuff that you can just certainly buy in box stores. What we make at home is always going to look better than what we can find in those big stores. It's certainly less quality than all the talent that we have at home, right? So, second bundle on. At this point, I'm going to start rotating the roping to consider how to cover up that twine. You can actually see that on the underside. So I want to cover that up. You can actually see some wire here and exposed twine. So to cover that, I'm literally going to flip it over, again rotating that for that three-dimensional look, and I'm going to place my next bundle on top of some of that modern material that I'm incorporating in. So I always want to hide the wire and the twine, okay? Sometimes when you buy thin roping, you can see all of that, because a lot of roping that you purchase is actually made by a machine, all right? As opposed to by hand, which does take some time, but the quality is always better, okay? Step by step, you're gonna basically continue that, but don't forget to rotate, checking each side, okay? That nice start is looking nice and full, and this is just 2 bundles, so you can see how nice that's looking at this point, all right? All right, I've got a couple feet, and that's looking really good so far. Now, as you see, I've got a bare spot here where I'm incorporating. So to finish this off for a centerpiece, or really just anywhere you want to position a short piece of roping, you want to basically tie on to the end, almost like the start, you're developing a nice tail. But you can see everything is going this way. Your last piece is going to be opposite, okay? So you can see all of this going left, you know, maybe a few more bundles going left, but you want to put your last tail almost opposite of that. So let's finish this off with 1 or 2 more bundles, okay? I've saved just enough to finish this off, okay? I'm probably blocking a little bit of this light, but I'm sure you can see. How I finish this off, pretty simple, just like making the beginning of it. But as I finish that length, I'm gonna want to try to develop a really natural look, okay? This is just my preference, okay? So like I said, a lot of it's going this way, but if you get to the end and you turn it the other way, it often looks a little bit more natural, as if it's growing on its own. Short and sweet, just enough length for on top of a dining room table. Happy holidays, everyone. This is Strawbery Banke.